Welcome back to Mets Daily. I'm Jake Brown at Jake Brown Live on all social media. Hit that thumbs up button below. Click that thumbs up. It's right below there. Make sure you click that. Helps the channel. But also subscribe if you aren't already. We're here every day. We took the day off yesterday. I got back like 3 a.m. from my trip. Just couldn't make it work yesterday. Needed a day. But we are back, ready to go. Gave you another day to catch up with our chat with Nelson Figueroa. That was a 45-minute show on Wednesday. So you had a 2-day, to check that out. But we are back. It's Friday, March 6th, 2026. We are closer and closer to the big WBC games, but we're focused right now on Mets baseball. And you're going to be calling him Super Joe Baty soon. That's Brett Baty, aka Super Joe McEwing, playing all positions on the diamond. He played 5 innings the other day, made his first start in right field, and he's going to play everywhere. And he said, I'll play anywhere. Remember, this is a guy that learned second base. That was it. He's played third. He's played second. He's played one game in left field for 1 inning, and that's it. 1 inning in left, 57 games at second, 245 at third. Now he's everywhere. This guy has played some first base in the spring. He just played right field, and that could be a position for him. First base, you think it's going to be Polanco, maybe some Vientos, but Baty could be there too. And as we always talk about, injuries happen. And to have someone like Brett Baty who's willing to, and I think athletic enough that he can play those positions, it's going to be big for the Mets. Like, versatility is what the Mets preached, and it was, run prevention was the terms used. Well, they're dealing with that successfully with guys that can just play anywhere. And, as much as people loved McNeil, and now McNeil can pretty much play anywhere, but that was an attitude thing, and his production just wasn't anywhere near what it used to be. Nimmo could not play anywhere. He could play left field. I know the Rangers playing him somewhere right. He's corner outfielder at best. Pete Alonso was a first baseman, but really a DH. The Mets got rid of guys who couldn't play around the diamond, added guys that could play around the diamond. And Brett Baty's going to play a role. And a reason why Baty and these other guys moving out of position will have success, good story by Tim Britton in The Athletic, Kai Correa. We talked about this a week or so ago and how bench coach, infield instructor Kai Correa is playing a big role in camp, and some good quotes in the story from Will Salmon talking about Brett Baty. Said Kai Correa, he's got his finger on his pulse. He's super high energy, super organized, a great communicator. It's been awesome to get to know him. Mendoza said it's his attention to detail. He's very creative, especially when it comes down to defensive drills. The way he organizes practice and the way he collaborates. He's super smart, but also open to new ideas. He's been open and asking questions. Jorge Polanco, who's a big, part of this change, playing first base for the first time in his career, that guy is really good. I heard a lot of really good stuff about him, but now that I've got him, it's amazing to work with him. Bo Bichette, another guy, moving out of position, playing third base for the first time in his career. He's very thorough and comes prepared every day. He speaks with a lot of confidence. Mendoza also said, this is a guy known around the industry as one of the best defensive coaches in the league. We were pretty aggressive in landing him. Stearns had the quote of run prevention is where we fell short, it's where we need to get better. Well, Kai Correa, he's got a very unique infield practice where he's got, a machine for situational ground balls. They're receiving rapid-fire ground balls that test their hand angles and positioning, the precision of their movements. There's many drills trying to overhaul the Mets defense, and it's awesome to see, man. It's awesome to hear. The Mets coaching staff in the past, we know about the pitching lab, but we never really heard about infield drills and bench coach and defensive coaches. As much as we like Gibbons as a veteran, I don't know if he was this kind of guy, this high-energy guy that does this. He's an older vet who's seen a lot, who's done a lot, who knows a lot. But I don't know if he was as analytical and as, distinct in his approach as Kai Correa is being with this team. And it's fun to watch. Another comment Correa said himself, when the ball is lighter, you can make it go faster, easier. If I hit you a lighter, bouncier ball, it's going to do things like jump higher and bounce further. When the ball's a little bouncier and you catch your heel, your fingertips, sometimes a real baseball will slide into the pocket from there. These balls ricochet out, so they encourage accuracy and give you that immediate feedback that you didn't hit the right spot. And he's been using comically small gloves. He said a smaller glove ratchets up the intentionality. If you and I went out to the yard and hit bottle caps with a giant bat, it's easy. Then we hit with a baseball bat, then a fungo, then with a broomstick. Progressively, I'm going to focus more. I'm going to be more aware where my barrel is, and I have to be intentional to make accurate, to make contact, same with the glove. The second thing, we shrink the webbing, we shrink the size of the glove. You have to play lower to the ground. So when you're trying to make a postural change, it forces you to get lower, and it forces your eye level to get lower. The shapes and sizes promote different things. We have gloves that are very small but have a conventional pocket. That forces you to be super accurate with your pocket. We have different flat gloves that promote securing the baseball with two hands or promote rapid exchange on relays on double play pivots. I mean, this is a fascinating stuff from Kai Correa. And I know, we don't really get analytical. We don't dive too deep into the woods like that on this show, but all that courtesy of The Athletic and Tim Britton. Great story there. Tim and our guy Will Salmon do a great job over there. But, he's getting rave reviews, and this kind of stuff is the good stuff. Like, this is the stuff when you have guys playing all different positions they've never played before. They're going to learn a little bit quicker than they would from maybe other bench coaches, and he's regarded as one of the best in the sport and so young. I mean, he is the heir apparent to Carlos Mendoza. If Carlos Mendoza gets fired, I could see Kai Correa being the Mets manager in 2027. Now, getting fired means the Mets would have missed the playoffs. Maybe they fire the whole coaching staff, but I could see Correa taking Mendoza's spot if Mendoza fails this year. Correa also said, I want them to have fun. When you put a little glove in their hands, it brings them back to their childhood, and they can compete and gamify at those stations. Fascinating stuff. So they're having fun. They're learning new positions. They're using all kind of, different tools, and I love it. I think that's the modern game. He also said, once a ball is hit, an infield approaches a series of forks in the road. What you don't want is indecision. We like to add decision-making to our activities. So you're working on the same timing and thought process. He's putting players in positions that actually happen, said Mendoza. So this is awesome. Kai Correa, we got to show him some love today. Now, we'll see. Maybe it doesn't work. But all we're hearing is rave reviews and that he's going to be integral to these guys playing out of position. I know everyone wants to worry about Bichette at third and some of his throws and how he's going to work out there. Polanco at first. To be honest, I'm a little more worried about Bichette. I'm not as worried about Polanco. But these kind of drills, this kind of stuff is what's going to help the Mets play guys in different positions and do it successfully. Because, we know what they have up the middle. We know Robert's a Gold Glover in center. We know second base Simeon Gold Glover. We know Lindor's a Gold Glover. You got 3 Gold Glovers. Soto is what he is. He's in left field. He's an okay fielder. That's not, he's not going to become a Gold Glover, but he's not going to lose you many games in left field. First base, third base, and whoever ends up in right. Now, if it's Tauchman, Melendez, they're fine, but if it's, Baty in right, it's Polanco at first, Bichette at third. That's 3 guys playing positions they never had, and it's going to be up to Correa and themselves, obviously, to make it work. For the Mets starting rotation to work, Sean Manaea and Kodai Senga need to return to top form. Sean Manaea was tremendous in 2024. Kodai Senga, we keep pointing back to his, rookie year, 2023, how great he was. 2024, he only had that, one start, was hurt basically the whole year, came back for the playoffs, just wasn't healthy. Last year, Pete with a bad throw hurt him on the throw. He just couldn't get deep into games. He had some command issues. His ERA wasn't bad, but if you watched Senga last year, it wasn't normal Senga. Both these guys have got to get back to top form. Manaea was hurt, missed the first half of last year. Then he had the bone chips, pitched with those. Clearly was not healthy. If these guys can return to their prime form, we're talking about the Mets rotation being in really good shape because we know Noah McClain can win Rookie of the Year, and we know Freddie Peralta is a frontline starter. It's the middle guys we don't know. Peterson we know is good, but he broke down in the second half. They're hoping Peterson can be a 4 or 5. Same with Clay Holmes. But they would love Manaea and Senga to be that 3-4. Because if they return to 3-4, you're talking about a dominant Mets rotation. You're talking about 2 aces with Peralta and McClain. Senga in his rookie year was an ace. Manaea in 2024 was an ace-like pitcher. You have a chance to really have a 1, a 1, a 2, a 2, And then Holmes, Peterson, kind of your 3-4 guys, but acting as 5-6. Now, I think the Mets eventually are going to want to get back to a 5-man rotation. So that could play a factor, too. Does one of these guys move to the bullpen? But Sean Manaea struggled last year. He was hard to watch. 5.64 ERA, 12 starts, just 60 innings. He could not get deep into games. By the 4th inning, he was out of gas. Sometimes the 3rd inning. Do they piggyback 2 guys? Can Manaea and Senga act as piggybacks? Can it be McLean, Peralta, or Peralta and McLean? And then do they do a Manaea-Senga piggyback? And then Peterson, Holmes? That could be an option. But if these 2 guys regain their form, as McLean will start today in spring, Senga starts tomorrow, they make their debut, the Mets will be in good hands. Huge, huge for them to be back to normal. Make sure you leave your comments. Will they get back to normal? Do you like Kai Correa? What do you think about Brett Baty's role? Let us know in the comments below. Let's get to your questions from Wednesday's program on Nelson Figueroa. Make sure you check that out. Great combo with Figgy. Doc 20 said that Devin Williams' knowledge is fascinating. I watched Luke Weaver throw college balls since I am a alum. I forgot where Weaver went. I don't know what emoji that is. Local beat and tally. I assume that's Florida State, maybe. Local beat and tally. Love that kid. Yeah, Weaver is very nerdy, quirky, and yeah, great stuff on Devin Williams from Figgy, who got to talk to him while he was down there. Michael Anderson said, love when you have Nelly Figs on. Always a good conversation. I agree. Nick, the Mets fanatic, said, I played against Nelson and his brother in softball. Great guy. That's awesome. Yeah, I've met some of Figgy's family. Nice family. I was like part of the family. Me and Figgy did a show together for 4 years. Mastodonda, Jake and Figgy, the dynamic duo. Eric Richter, Nelly is the GOAT. Yeah, listen, I am trying to do something with Figgy in some capacity. Again, I do think we have great chemistry. We're hoping something with picks. Maybe we could do something with them, a digital show in some way, but would love to bring the amazing but true duo back together in a more permanent spotlight. It's hard to ask him every single week to come on here. I enjoy the convo, but every week when we're not paying him is a little tough. We do have an update of Hank Azaria. That is happening. They have sent me 2 dates for him that will be happening. It's looking like my dad's birthday is actually Tuesday, April 4th. It'll be either April 13th or April 14th. That morning, we will be recording with Hank Azaria. So get ready. It's a while. He's a busy man, but a month in advance, but we'll take it. We got a month from Hank Azaria. We'll get him on during the season. So that'll be fun. But thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, share the channel, and go follow me on all social media, and go subscribe to my YouTube at Jake Brown Live. We will talk to you Monday. Have a great weekend. We'll talk WBC on Monday. Christian Scott looking good, beating Israel. Obviously, that tweet blew up. And yeah, we'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.